Activated.
Analyzing.
Update complete.
What's up, lore masters? Today we'll be concluding the discussion around the Omega Directive. For now, at least. This has been a 3-part series where I first discussed the episode we saw the Omega Directive first appear in, which is from Voyager, the Borg's predilection and religious views around the Omega molecule, and now the directive itself. Check in the top right corner to see the first 2 videos. Don't worry, I'll be here when you get back. Check them out? Great. So let's just get into it. The Omega Directive is a highly classified Starfleet general order that requires captains and flag officers to alert Starfleet Command immediately upon the detection of an Omega molecule. It requires the use of any means necessary to destroy the molecule and overrides every other regulation, including, but not limited to, the Prime Directive. Generally, the captain of a ship identifying an Omega molecule contacts Starfleet and awaits further instructions. However, there have been times when Starfleet assistance would not be possible given the location of the ship. When you look at the history of the Omega Directive, the fear of the Omega molecule and need to do anything, including the justification of killing children if they needed to, comes from an event that occurred in the mid-23rd century. At that time, there was a team of 127 Federation scientists that worked at a classified facility in the Lantaru sector, or Lantaru in the Greek. At this facility, the scientists were studying the Omega molecule. It was theorized that a single molecule had the same power as a warp core. In theory, a small amount of these particles, a chain if you will, would be able to completely sustain a civilization. There's even been conjecture that the Omega particle existed for a small amount of time before the Big Bang, possibly being the reason for the creation of the universe. The team of scientists would have success and be able to create an Omega molecule. Unfortunately, the molecule did not stabilize. It would ultimately explode and destroy the station. Subspace was irrevocably damaged within a 7 light-year radius of the blast genesis. No ship would be able to maintain a warp bubble in the Lantaru sector after this event, and most likely subspace communications would be knocked out as well. Starfleet suppressed all knowledge of the experiment and the destruction of the facility. It's not explicitly stated, but given the crew seemed to not know much about the molecule or the particle, including the science officers, and the secretive nature of the directive, it appears to me that Starfleet also attempted to quash any discussion of the Omega molecule's existence. Because, democratic societies are known for shutting down conversation about scientific research. Though, if I'm being lenient, the Omega molecule most likely got the name Omega after the accident. So it might have been called something else, and Starfleet just stopped putting resources into whatever the research was for whatever it was called, and let the scientific community move on to other things. This would be logical given the lack of support from Federation resources. As stated, after the accident, the Omega Directive was formed. It was named after the last letter in the Greek alphabet, showing its significance, meaning it was the end of basically everything. Now let's go ahead and break down the directive itself, and as has been the case with most of this breakdown, the listed information is taken directly from Memory Alpha. However, I have done my own research, and this is consistent with how the directive works. That said, it's possible that some of this information might be contradicted in future episodes that discuss Omega, given that we never really see the directive, directly. But let's get into it. First, the ship's computer would force the engines to immediately stop and lock out all computer access, displaying only the Greek letter Omega, at least on all bridge consoles. Only the captain would be able to disable this override. I've pointed it out before, but this is monumentally stupid. What if they were in combat? What if they were trying to outrun a supernova? Many apologists have attempted to explain this away, stating that if the ship was at red alert or yellow alert, that it may not trigger. That could be true. We don't know, nor have we seen a situation where the ship is at red alert. We also don't know if a warp field is actually sustained by magical unicorns that run alongside the ship. We simply haven't seen magical unicorns by the ship to see if they are the ones that's actually doing it. So maybe it will lock it out during yellow and red alert, or maybe not, but what we do know is that the ship will automatically shut down both engines and the computers and lock everyone out if it detects the molecule in a normal situation. Now, even if we accepted that the computer would not do this at yellow or red alert, this is still, again, monumentally stupid, in my opinion. What if an enemy ship attacks while they are overriding the lockout? Or some type of other phenomenon hit them? What if the captain was incapacitated at the exact point? Also, for a directive that is so top secret that it can't ever be talked about, they sure go out of their way to raise a hell of a lot of suspicion about it. This is even further proven when we see in the Voyager episode that the entire ship is abuzz, because they did this big song and dance when they detected it. This part of the directive is a bad idea and was probably made by someone who's never captained a ship. Secondly, the captain or flag officer is to go to a secured area and utilize their authorization code to review the sensor data. This is pretty straightforward and makes sense, so no real argument here. The computer will briefly advise the captain or the flag officer of the detection of the molecule and reminds the officer of the Omega Directive, including the rescinding of the Prime Directive. Let's consider that a moment. For all intents and purposes, this allows a Starfleet officer to do literally anything to stop the Omega molecule. Remember Ransom? Yeah, Captain Ransom, the guy who committed genocide? The guy that used an alien species to get home faster because he was using them for fuel? What he should have done is had the computer show that the Omega molecule was detected by the computer and that these aliens were all trying to use the Omega molecules to destroy the universe. And so he was using them for fuel to save the galaxy. Boom. Instant admiralty. I mean, a hero. But seriously, how much power does this directive give a Starfleet officer? I mean, I get it. I do get it. But there's something worrying when you have to rescind the Prime Directive. Honestly, this is the problem with the Prime Directive. Look, I've done 2 different videos on this, so I won't get on my soapbox here. You can see them in the top right-hand corner at this point, but just a summation. If they treated the Prime Directive pragmatically and not like some damn document on high that even God himself couldn't touch, you wouldn't need to rescind it with orders like this. Pragmatically, bypassing the Prime Directive to destroy the Omega molecule makes sense, and it would only allow you to go as far as you needed to. It would hopefully prevent attempts at justifying war crimes in the name of destroying the molecule. But those are just my thoughts. Lastly, the captain is forbidden from talking about the molecule to anyone. They are to contact Starfleet Command via an encrypted channel. At that point, they will inform the admirals of the situation, and Starfleet would dispatch a specialized team to handle the molecule. Here's an interesting question. What if there's an Omega molecule in the neutral zone? Bonus situation. When the USS Bellerophon arrived at Romulus and the Omega Directive activated and everything shut down, what do you think would happen? I tell you what, let's take a break so that we can consider what's going on and then come back. I'll see you on the opposite side. Welcome back, guys. As we discussed, what would have happened if the USS Bellerophon had shut down in Romulus space? This would have looked insanely odd to the Romulans. And then, what happens after that? Is Starfleet going to tell them? Try to destroy it without their knowledge? Risk war with the Romulans and basically the loss of the Dominion War to stop the molecule? I mean, without the Prime Directive, basically they could just let Section 31 run the place, so maybe that would have worked out better. I've discussed this in previous episodes, so I won't belabor the point here. I don't mind the directive overall, especially when you consider the devastation that the loss of subspace would incur. With planets that rely on trade and travel, losing the ability to interact, the ability to utilize subspace communications, all of it gone, millions, trillions, probably untold amounts of people would suffer. It would fundamentally change the way travel was done. Generational ships would return and we would have a much, much darker story. So stopping that at all costs does make sense. Ultimately, though, it feels like this is just a walking time bomb. I mean, you can only delay the inevitable. Space is vast, and unfortunately, there will come a civilization that will start working on the molecule, and the Federation won't be aware of it. And then once that catastrophe happens, it'll be too late. At least that's how I look at it. What do you guys think? Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you really enjoy my content, then I need your help. Let's take Lore Reloaded to the next level, but I can only do it if I have fan support like yours. Please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/Lore Reloaded. And please don't hesitate to let me know your thoughts. Whether a patron or not, let me know below what you guys think. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and guys, I'm gonna see you on the next Lore Reloaded.